Hey everybody, happy Sunday. I am going to show you the process of applying polyacrylic to this furniture. So I am going to apply the polyacrylic to the top surface of this cabinet. I also like to apply it to any applique that I use, and I actually used one here, and you can barely see it, but I did one around this chair right here. And I choose the polyacrylic. It is water-based. It's easy cleanup, and there's not a whole lot of fumes. When you open these, you'll notice that it's a milky white and it's pretty loose. I always recommend never shake these. If you shake it, you're going to add bubbles and it'll be placed into your surface. So instead, you just want to stir it. And I actually apply this with an old t-shirt that's been ripped up. But you can brush, you can use a foam brush, you can use a traditional brush, just whatever you like to use. But stir it up really well. And then prior to applying this to your surface, always take a really dry, lint-free cloth and wipe off the surface of any dust or anything that may have gotten on the surface of this. And then you're just going to dip it. And you want to go in long, sweeping motions. And it doesn't need to be real thick. So I will probably apply 3 coats of this. And then in between each coat, I am going to take sandpaper, and because once you apply this, the wood grain will actually start to stick up a little bit and it'll be rough to the touch. So I will sand in between coats with either a 200 or 400 grit sandpaper. And you're going to let it dry for roughly about 2 hours in between applications. And then once you finish your final application, you want to give it a good 2 days to dry before you use it. And you can tell if it's dry or not by the touch. Usually it's a little tacky. So it's pretty easy to use. And like I said, I do use the polyacrylic. Polyurethane, in my opinion, yellows the color a little bit, so I try to stay away from the polyurethane, but I will use it occasionally. It depends on the surface. But this actually turns out really well. I think it goes well with the chalk paint. So I love it, I use it, and that's polyacrylic.